Has the Toyota Tacoma become stale? Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to RobMotive. Out cruising around in my loaner Mercedes right now. By the way, somebody made a comment on the channel the other day. You know, the trolls, the haters, the jealous, it's just amazing to me. But they mentioned, oh, so now you're driving around in a Mercedes, and then some other things that I'm not going to get into. And I'm like, you know, this is a 2003. It's 19 model years old, and it's worth about $2,400. You know, and I know that because the owner of it actually thought about selling it. So we did a little investigation, and as far as what you can get from like the used car places and stuff, it's $2,400. I mean, you know, gee, people that dog a vehicle just because of the plaque that's on it or the badge. I mean, I could draw a Mercedes emblem, I guess, post it on the back of my Tacoma, and then I'd somehow be snooty, I guess. I think it'd be just weird, but you know, it's always funny to me, the things that the trolls choose to focus on. It's insane. But anyway, that's really not what I'm here to talk about. As I'm out cruising around, thinking about the Toyota Tacoma, and the question arises for me, you know, has the Toyota Tacoma become stale? You know, it's been out for a number of years right now. We've been on the third generation Tacoma for quite a while. There haven't been a lot of changes. There's been some improvements. I mean, we have a better radio now. We have a better front grille. We have different colors, and they did change the interior a bit, give us a power driver seat. So they have done some tweaks, some improvements. But overall, it's basically the same truck that's been out for a long time. Now, from a reliability and dependability standpoint, that's not such a bad thing. I mean, that's what keeps trucks reliable and dependable. But after a while, you know, you kind of start to wonder, when are they going to do something different? You've got all the new models out there. We have a new Colorado coming out that's supposed to be really nice. There was a GMC Canyon or something like that that's come out that looks pretty nice. So you have to stay competitive. And I think there's really two groups of buyers. There's three groups of buyers that you're looking at, I suppose. One, which doesn't really matter to me. It does as far as the dealers go, or the manufacturers, and those are the fleet customers. You know, the people that buy multiple copies of a truck to put into service as work trucks. Now, that's always a good contract for a manufacturer to have. Ford does that, and that's why they're number one, because they sell so many fleet vehicles. But Toyota, they don't have a ton. I've seen a few around, and it really depends on your area, I suppose. But I don't know that that's a huge part of their business. I think it's primarily consumers like you and me. And when it comes to consumers like me, there are two classes. One, the people who buy the truck and have it forever, and then the repeat customer. Well, obviously, the one that buys it forever, they're only putting bread on the table during that one purchase. It's not like they're repeating consistently. So they're not really the base for Toyota, I suppose. It's more the repeat buyers and the new buyers. The ones that are out there buying the truck every time there's a new iteration of it, every time there's a new model or changes that are worth buying. And I hear that a lot on the channel. You know, people have asked me, why have you had 6 or 7 Toyota Tacomas? I mean, nothing's changed. It's like you have the one you've got, and then you trade it off for the same thing that you've got when there's nothing wrong with the one you've got. That's true. But for me, I trade them off because I want to experience the different trim levels. You know, you've got the SR5, the SR, which I've never had an SR, but you've got the SR5, you have the Limited, the TRD Pro, the TRD Sport, the TRD Off-Road. I mean, there are just a ton of different levels of Toyota Tacoma to experience. And there are differences in them. You know, when I had the Sport, I thought that would be a smoother riding, better handling truck on the road. For what a truck is, I know. And I was wrong. It was actually not as good as far as the ride quality goes in my opinion, as the off-road. The off-road just seemed to have a softer ride. It took the bumps better, and maybe that's because it is the off-road. You know, if you're going to be taking it off-road, obviously you don't want it beating the crap out of you while you're driving over all the ruts and divots and everything in the dirt. So maybe that does make more sense, and the Sport is just a firmer, more precise ride, I guess, which I'm not a huge fan of. I like a little bit of cushion while I'm going down the road. So, you know, I preferred the off-road when it came to that. Right now, of course, I have the SR5, and that's got to be my favorite so far, I think, because it gives me such flexibility in what I can do with it. It's a fairly base trim, but still has all of the stuff on it that I want, and none of the things that I would have paid for and had to rip off. So that's the one that I choose right now. As far as being stale, yes, I do think the Toyota Tacoma has become stale. I think it's probably about 2 years past where Toyota should have done something. Should have done I won't call it a major, but a pretty profound, let's go with that, a profound rebuild or redesign of the truck. Change up a little things, make it a little bit more current as far as the interior goes, the options, the design, all that stuff. And I don't mean just sticking an iPad type screen in the dash, something that looks like it was an afterthought. You put it in there just because you had to. I'm talking about something integrated, something more modern. Kind of like the Hyundai Santa Cruz. I keep going back to the Santa Cruz, and I do that because I have one, and because I think what they've done with it is awesome. It's got that separate floating, if you will, digital screen for speed and RPMs and fuel economy and fuel gauge and all that stuff. And then it has the kind of floating radio area. I mean, it looks really cool. I think Toyota should go that route. Do I think they're going to? I would say probably not. Toyota's more of a traditional, old-fashioned kind of looking design, and I think it's probably how they're going to keep it. Now, on the outside, on the other hand, I think Toyota was cutting edge when they first came out with the Tacoma. I mean, it's still relevant in design today. I still think it's the best looking midsize truck on the road, and I think that's a testament to Toyota's design and their philosophy when they came out with the Tacoma. And I hope they stay with that. I hope they come out with something that is at least as current as what the current Toyota Tacoma is. And I think they could do that if they went with something very similar to the electric concept that we've seen floating around. I've mentioned this before. It's that white truck. I think that truck looks really sharp, and I think it's close enough to the current Tacoma that people that are diehards with the given model or the current model aren't going to go nuts. So anyway, it's going to be interesting to see. We should have a redesigned Toyota Tacoma within the next couple of years, I hope, barring any other problems or world issues that might come up. So it'll be interesting to see if and what Toyota does with the new redesigned Toyota Tacoma. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Has the Tacoma gotten stale? Is it time? Is it past time for Toyota to do something with it? I'd be curious to know. Also, real quick, I do have 2 additional channels. RobMotive JT, all about Jeep Gladiators, and RobMotive MT, all about compact trucks or mini trucks. Check them out, and if you're interested, why not subscribe? Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.